Welcome back to Whispers in the Dark. Today's story takes us deep into the heart of Southeast Asia, where a man who was as powerful as he was mysterious disappeared without a trace. This is the bizarre and chilling tale of Jim Thompson, known as the Silk King, whose disappearance remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of the spine-tingling stories we bring to life here. It's March 26, 1967, in the lush, rolling hills of the Highlands, Malaysia. This region is known for its sprawling tea plantations, misty jungles and, well, a chilling secret. That secret revolves around one man, Jim Thompson. Now, Jim wasn't your ordinary guy. He was a former spy, an actual spy who served in the OSS, the precursor to the CIA, turned entrepreneur who single-handedly revived Thailand's silk industry. His silk empire made him wealthy, influential, and a bit of a mystery to everyone who knew him. People said he had a sort of magnetism about him, someone who could make things happen, whether through charm, money, or more clandestine means. By the mid-1960s, Thompson was living in Bangkok, but that fateful March he took a break from city life to spend Easter weekend with friends at a quaint little cottage in the Highlands. He wanted some peace, some quiet, but what he got was something far darker. On the afternoon of March 26th, Jim Thompson decided to go for a walk alone. No big deal, right? A solo stroll through the hills, some fresh mountain air. He was known for being an adventurer after all. His friends, a couple who owned the cottage, didn't think twice when he wandered off around 4:30 p.m. They figured he'd be back soon, maybe just taking in the scenery. But hours passed. Then it got dark, and Jim Thompson never came back. At first, no one panicked. Maybe he got lost, or maybe he decided to explore a bit further than usual. But by the next morning, when there was still no sign of him, things took a turn. His friends alerted the local authorities, and soon after, the Malaysian police launched one of the largest search and rescue operations the area had ever seen. Hundreds of people scoured the jungle, from villagers to the military. Helicopters circled overhead. Search dogs combed the terrain. But there was no trace of Jim Thompson. Nothing. It was as if he had been swallowed whole by the jungle. This is where things start to get strange. Despite the massive search efforts, they didn't find any clues, no clothes, no footprints, no signs of a struggle. The police were stumped, but as with all good mysteries, the theories started rolling in. Some believed Jim had fallen victim to wild animals. Tigers and leopards were known to roam those jungles, but there were no remains, no blood, no evidence that a struggle had taken place. Could a jungle predator really have taken him down so cleanly? Others suspected he might have been kidnapped. Thompson was a wealthy man, after all, with enemies in both business and his former life as a spy. Maybe some local insurgents or criminal groups had taken him for ransom or revenge. But no ransom note ever appeared. No one ever came forward with demands. Then there was the spy theory, the one that made the most sense to people who knew Jim. What if his disappearance wasn't an accident? What if he'd been taken out by someone from his past life in the OSS? Some theorized that Jim had never really stopped being a spy, that he was still involved in covert operations in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. Maybe he had seen or done something that made him a target. Maybe his past had finally caught up with him. But then there's the theory that chills even the most logical minds, the one that makes this case more eerie than your average mystery. Locals believed Jim Thompson wasn't taken by man or beast, but by the jungle itself. In the Highlands, there are old stories, ancient beliefs about spirits that live in the jungle, and how sometimes these spirits claim people who trespass too far into their territory. Some villagers believe that Jim Thompson, whether knowingly or not, crossed into forbidden territory, a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs. Could he have been taken by something supernatural, something beyond our understanding? People whispered about it, and some who participated in the search even reported feeling watched or hearing strange noises in the night during their hunt for him. As the search wore on, that sense of dread only deepened. No one could explain it, but the jungle seemed to close in around them, almost as if it was hiding something, something it didn't want found. Weeks turned into months, and the search was finally called off. Jim Thompson, the Silk King, had simply vanished, and to this day, no one knows what really happened. His disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. But here's the thing, his legacy didn't disappear with him. To this day, the Thai silk industry thrives, thanks to the groundwork he laid. But the question remains, what happened to him in those misty jungles of Malaysia? Was he taken by an animal, an enemy, or something otherworldly? We may never know, but one thing is certain. Jim Thompson walked into the jungle that day and never walked out. Thank you for joining us for this spine-chilling tale of the Silk King who vanished without a trace. If you ever find yourself in the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, just remember, some things are better left unexplored. Before you go, don't forget to check out our merch, because nothing says "I survived whispers in the dark" like a t-shirt or two. Your support helps keep these whispers alive, and believe me, we have a lot more to whisper about. And remember, every whisper counts. Stay curious, stay brave, and until next time, keep seeking the whispers in the dark.